If you could write a love letter, if you could talk to your younger self, to little Susan or little Bobby at 6 years old or 12 or 18, what would you say? What about if you could write a love letter or talk to your future self at 40 or 60 or 80? What would you say? In this episode, we talk about the thread of love running through your life. It's a very special Valentine's Day episode to free your heart to love and be loved as you deserve.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay?
Well, hello again and welcome to the FreedHearts podcast, episode 17. They're adding up of the FreedHearts podcast. My name is Robert Cottrell and I'm here with
Susan Cottrell.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, this is what I'm getting nothing back here. There we go. We're doing this because this episode is coming out just before Valentine's Day, and we're going to talk about love. And I know that's kind of a weird holiday sometimes for many of us, but on this episode, it doesn't really matter if you're with someone or you're alone. This episode will apply because we just want to talk about love. And recently we did an episode about a love letter to ourselves. Yeah, we were doing that in the middle of a very difficult time last year. And that letter was to ourselves right now. But how did we get there and where do we want to go? So if you could write, I want to talk to you about what we're going to cover, and then we'll go back and talk about this. But the idea is if you could write a love letter to your past self or your younger self, to little Susan or little Bobby at 6 years old or 12 years old or 18 years old, what would you say? What would we say? We make decisions growing up about ourselves, about life, love, what we deserve, the kind of people we deserve, how we deserve to be treated, that impact the rest of our lives. What truths would we speak to our younger selves that we wish we would have known? And then we're going to talk a bit about writing a love letter to our future self. And I'll say this, talking to most of you out there, not to me, but your future self at 40 or 60 or 80. And what would you say? What would you hope that you know then? And how do you hope you have lived and loved? And we want to talk about what's gotten in the way, about the importance of what others think, how others have hurt us, lies we have believed about ourselves, negative self-talk, non-affirming religious teaching that has impacted the core of who we are, things like that. So let's go back and kind of talk a little bit about writing a love letter to little Susie.
Susie Q.
Susie
is what I call.
Excuse me? There's a song about you, isn't there?
Yes. Is what I call my younger self. It's Susie Q. And this is a really interesting topic to me. I've worked with a lot of people to go back to talk to their younger self. And it's really freeing because that younger you is in there. And when you have an issue come up, I've heard it just recently described as the adult mind gets caught in a loop of a hurt or something, that it's the child mind that is being pulled in, and the child mind is the one hurt. And so to go back when you're in a current situation and address the child mind and put that younger you at ease gives you freedom in the now.
Can you give us an example?
Well, when I first started doing this work myself, my mentor said to get to know, Susie younger you, is what she said, or whatever she used, the little you.
We can use Susie Q.
I like Susie Q. That's what I call her for me. And to get to know her and get comfortable with her and her to get comfortable with me. And it sounds like you're suddenly, got multiple personality disorder, but it's not true. It's actually multiple personality order because you're bringing order from that inside of you that hasn't been resolved, So I started imagining her with me. And when I'd be in the kitchen cooking, I'd see her there with me, helping me. And it's a little awkward at first. It felt like I was babysitting somebody's kid and I didn't quite know what to do with them.
Was she a nice kid?
She was nice and quiet and didn't seem to say that much. But I wanted to reach her, but soon I really got together with her and saw who she was and saw myself in her. And I would sit on the sofa maybe and have her come sit with me, and I'd put my arm around her and ask her, how are you doing? What would you like to tell me? And if there's a hurt, you can talk to younger you about it and let them know, let them tell you what they're feeling, and ask them, what do you need from me? What would you like from me? And usually they want to know that you love them and that they're safe, because they're speaking up because they don't feel safe. They're afraid. They've tried to protect you. They're operating from a child, wanting to protect you and themselves so that you guys survive, which, is what you do as a child. You try to survive and navigate the world you live in. And so if you can...
And as a child, all that's based on whatever has happened to you.
Sure.
Whatever your experience is.
Whatever's going on in the moment. If there's something, whatever is happening. And if it's either from a really dysfunctional situation, or if it's just a world that's bigger than you that you don't know how to navigate, even in a good situation, you're still a child trying to navigate the world. Mm. And so for you to say then, hey, I hear your heart. You're safe. Thank you for sharing this with me. You're safe. I want you to know that I am who you became. And this protection that you've done has gotten us to this point. But I'm in charge now, and I will protect you. You are safe, and I'm here for you. And even though it could sound like you're just making stuff up, it honestly satisfies that younger you, and it brings peace to that voice in you, because she's speaking up because she's afraid and wants to be heard and wants to be loved.
Yeah, that's what I'm. So the impact, if I'm understanding you, the impact that it has on your present self is that your present self is, as you just live and go through each day, is deeply impacted. Likely you don't even know it,
right? By
decisions that your younger self made, that little Susie Q made to
be safe,
to protect you,
right?
And it's like this. What are the movies, Inception, and these kind of things that two things happening at the same time.
Right.
It's like you then, as an adult, say, "Hey, I got it.
Yeah,
I hear you. I've got it from here.
Yeah."
You did your work, which relieves Susie Q, which then relieves you,
yes,
as a grown-up,
yes,
from that either feeling like I don't know why I am the way I am or why I think the way I think, but it gives you back. It relieves you or releases you from that dependence upon your younger self. Is that right?
Well, it relieves you from reacting to something that your child has thrown into the mix in order to protect themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
This is going to sound like a strange segue, and
I will tell you that I've heard you, watched you do this with a number of people.
Yeah.
On video and over the phone over the past year or so, and a couple of them, as in my first response was like, what? Like, yeah, okay.
Whatever.
Sit with my little Bobby.
We're on the West Coast now, so things are weird.
What the hell happened in the Pacific Northwest? But they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And without exception, it's like, oh my gosh, that was profound.
Yes.
I felt so much. I was able to talk and receive and share, and that was so profound. So, yeah.
It's like your body, what they call somatic experiences. Soma means body. And when your body carries your experiences, your body tells the truth about your experiences. It embodies experiences.
Wow.
And then you're living out of them. And so when you go back and heal that experience, then it frees it from your body. And it's kind of the same thing here.
And we don't know that in most cases.
We're not conscious of it.
We're not sure why we react that way.
Right.
Why? Sometimes we know, but a lot of times it's
really
why.
We don't. Yeah, it's like
why am I good?
They say you're never mad about what you're mad about.
Right.
you think you're mad about the thing being left out all night on the counter instead of put in the fridge, but you're mad about the scarcity mindset you grew up with. It's just, as a child, it's just, there's a root. And so you want to go back to that. And it sounds like digging for a needle in a haystack, but it's not. When you ask your younger you, they know and they'll share with you. Like a first date, maybe it can feel awkward at first, but soon you are integrated with younger you. And she's just in your body.
You've opened up that communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she feels safe. She feels heard and protected. Because oftentimes as kids, that was my Texas accent came out, right? Just as kids.
Y'all.
We don't feel heard. We don't have a way to express our fears where somebody in charge says, "Oh, I know that's scary for you. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
We're safe."
Yeah, yes, that's right. We don't know how to process it. We have nothing to base it on. We just know that that the message that we're getting is whatever it is. Life is unfair. Life is scary. I'm hungry. We're poor. We don't have what we need. People are mean. Other people are mean. Grown-ups are mean. Grown-ups are nice. Whatever it is,
Yeah. Or I have to, as somebody just put it, I was listening to yesterday, said, I have to cry for somebody to hear that I need a bottle. That's from when we're infants. So we feel like we really need to make ourselves heard. And then often we're quieted, we're silenced. Yeah. So, and this happens in all families, not just in dysfunctional families.
I have to cry now when I need a bottle. It's a whole bottle of wine. No, I'm just kidding.
I love how much you reference that for somebody who doesn't even drink. It's just great.
I like Bailey's Irish Cream a little bit.
You do like that, but that's it. That's just funny.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Send us Starbucks gift cards. Hey, listening Starbucks is a shout out. I'm just kidding. We have no sponsors. We haven't tried though. We should get some sponsors.
We should. Yeah.
Sorry, I was completely derailed that. Yeah. So again, I've seen you do that in your own life. I'll be walking through the living room and you're talking to little Susie.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. And again, to be able, if we have that opportunity. Mm-hmm. That's what we're trying to say. We have that opportunity,
right,
to actually go back and speak to our younger selves.
Yeah.
And talk about the decisions that we made, that our younger selves made. And again, that could be, and we could talk to our younger selves at different times, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Different ages of decisions that we made about how we deserve to be treated, about whether or not we're attractive and appealing, about what the opposite sex or the same sex is like, what others are like, Yeah,
and sometimes it's just something comes up. I feel angst or I feel afraid or something. And so all you have to do in that moment is just say, sit down, close your eyes and say, okay, younger you, Susie Q, would you like to come talk to me about this? And let them appear to you and let them appear at the age that they are at the time of the thing, because it's related to an earlier thing, almost assuredly.
Sure.
And they'll show up and maybe they're 6, maybe that time they're 12, and then let them communicate to you. And your job is to hear it and receive it and give them comfort. And it's as if they're really there and you are called upon as the adult in the room to comfort them, not correct them, not tell them it's silly. They don't, there's nothing to be afraid of. But, I understand how scary that must be for you. But I want you to know I'm here and I got it.
Yeah,
hold them.
Okay.
This is an odd little thing. So if you don't want it in here, we'll take it out. But when there was a time when we had the kids, everybody was asleep, middle of the night, and we got a huge knock on the door. It was 3 a.m. or something. It roused everybody. We went out of the room and I started to go downstairs, just like in my stupor of sleep. I started to go downstairs, but you were going to the kids' window, which looked out over the front door. But before you went in, you saw me going downstairs and you stopped me. Susan, no, don't go down. Don't go open that door. And it jolted me awake and I came back upstairs. And then you dealt with them through the window and somebody was out there. Is this your cat? It was some kind of weird ruse.
We didn't have.
I'm sure of it. Yeah. And it's just kind of a way to get us to open the door. But if you had not caught me, who knows what would have happened? But instead, you're like, hey, it's okay. I got this. And pulled me back from that. And it's been 15, 20 years. And I still remember that as a really primal protection from you. And we get to offer that to our younger you to say, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Stay with me. I'll show you. I got you. Nothing's going to get you.
And how does that impact you right now? So you have this, so you say that to your younger self.
Yeah.
That I've got you. We're okay. And then what does that then do to you right here, right now?
It resolves that thing that is pulling on me from the inside that I don't know why it is. It resolves it.
And some of those things have to deal with how we view ourselves, right?
Sure.
How we view, how we deserve to be treated, the kind of relationships we have, whether or not we're worthy, things like that, right?
Yeah.
So how does that impact yourself today?
Yeah, it frees me. It frees me. If some woman is being rude to me, and belligerent to me that I thought was a friend, and I talked to Susie Q, and she remembers, Kathy Goldstein, the 6th grade bully, and suddenly there's context. I say, oh, okay, well, this woman's not Kathy. We're okay. We made it through that. And I tell Susie Q, I say, everything that you did everything you could to protect us till we could grow up. And you did a great job because we're here and we made it.
So then you come through and interact with us. It's like, oh, that's why I'm reacting.
Yeah.
That's why I'm triggered.
Yeah, it just unplugs it by itself.
It unplugs it.
I don't even have to. Yeah, I don't even have to say, okay, therefore. It unplugs it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's,
By the way, Kathy Goldstein, if you're listening. Payback. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not going to apologize if you're listening. Freedom. We love you too. Yeah, so that's awesome. As I've seen you do it with yourself and others, it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Yeah, it really is.
It's a beautiful thing. And it feels that way as I've watched you come through that. And especially, honestly, as I've seen some others that you've dealt with on this, that you've worked with on this, it's just profound. They're like, oh my gosh, I have been thinking this and afraid of this for 15 years.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's gone.
Yeah,
we have a
young person I've been working intensely with on this for a few years. And some of those memories that were like anxiety, panic attack inducing now are just inert. She doesn't even have any heat on it at all. And that's the power of tapping into your younger you, that child mind, and freeing them from the thing that's still there for them.
Yeah. And again, we're doing this in connection with the Valentine's Day holiday, which it's not my favorite holiday. It's a little bit,
trumped up.
You can't say that phrase anymore. You just can't. It's a little bit commercialized.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere. And so we do this with the goal that maybe this helps free your heart to love and be loved as you deserve.
Yeah. So starting with the letter, though, that's a good place to start. Yeah. And if you want to close your eyes on the sofa and let younger you come in and then write down everything you would have to say to them, what you wish an adult had said to you or whatever. Yeah.
And if you're interested in this, and I could be opening up your email, but if you're interested in maybe something like this, maybe reach out to us and we can figure out. We've not really done this, on a client kind of basis before, but maybe it's something we can think about doing if you have time, Susan. We'll see. But email us just at podcast@FreedHearts. Actually, do it to hello@freedhearts.org. hello@freedhearts.org, and just ask about this, and maybe we can figure something out. Yeah.
Okay.
So should we move on to future self?
Yes.
Because what happens, as we are living now in the present between past self and future self, we find that there are things that we believe about ourselves. We have negative self-talk, and we're impacted by non-religious not affirming religious teaching that has given us lies and abusive messages and how others have hurt us and things like that. So how do we address that? What do we say to our future self if we're writing a letter? What do we want our future self to know? Is it something? And we're talking through this live here on the podcast in front of you all in your ears. But is it the kind of thing where it's like a vision you want to cast for your future self?
No.
How do you hear it?
Because your future self is the one with the vision. I would take the opportunity in a letter to introduce yourself to your future self, which is really you connecting. Really You're really introducing you to them because they've already lived through you. I know this gets very esoteric very quickly, but honestly, it works. There's power in it. So you can write a letter to that future self and express who you are, hopes, fears, whatever. And then, like with Susie Q, you can
listen for an answer.
Go, yes. When I meditate, I'll go to this place I have. It's like a hut where I see my future self and other people that have inspired me. And I go there and in meditation, and I meet with 70-year-old Susan is the one I'm meeting with, and which sounds very far away.
Are you going to change that here sometime soon?
At some point.
110-year-old Susan.
That's right. But I'll go and just knock on the hut door, and she answers. And we'll just go sit at the table and just, mostly she'll just put her arm around me and just smile because she's so happy to see me. And it's like a very mothering, maternal thing. And it provides me, like, I just feel so loved and so safe. And sometimes she'll give me words of encouragement that I wouldn't have known before. I wouldn't have had the words for. And she'll tell me, oh, don't be afraid of that. That's nothing. That's going to just fall away. Don't worry about that. Look at what you've done and look at what's ahead for you. And she casts the vision for me and takes away my fear. That's the biggest thing, which is I just saw the connection. Of course, it's there that you're taking away the fear for your younger you, and your older you is taking away your fear.
I just wrote that down.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
I used the word comfort, but
yeah, because fear is the biggest problem that we've got, and everything we do either comes from love or fear, period. And love is the way forward. Love is the peace. Love is where creativity and life are going to come from, where they do come from. And fear is the block to that. It's just like a dark room. You haven't turned on the love in yet. So much freedom.
I think this past time of being in quarantine and being locked down, a lot of us have had no other person to be with but ourselves.
Yes.
Our thoughts and our mind. And that's been very difficult.
Well, now you have three people.
In a lot of ways, that's right. And so I was going to say, it gives us a chance to really, it's given us a chance, I think, to just reflect on some things. And I think for me and for a lot of people out there, it has opened up a window into ways I view myself that I didn't realize. Conversations, decisions I had made about myself, the ways that I view myself, the way that I view others, that I just didn't realize because life was so darn busy.
Yes.
And so this is an opportunity here, and what we want to leave you with and hope you take away from this is it's an opportunity to go back. And you can do this through a letter, start with a letter, and also through meditation. And we may have some resources for you on that, and we can connect. Again, reach out to us. But even if you just spend time writing a letter, write this down, a letter to your younger self, little Susie Q, little Bobby. No one calls me Bobby except my mom, by the way. And she's gone. But you can, I suppose, listener. write a letter to your younger self, spend some time, meditate on that. Write a letter, spend some time, meditate with your future self, with the idea.
And if you grew up in a Christian tradition, the idea of meditate may scare you, but it just means to think, to rest in, and, whatever's good, worthy, praiseworthy, think on these things, that verse, that's all you're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
you're just reflecting in silence without, other thoughts distracting you.
Yeah. There are examples in the Bible of Jesus going off and being alone with his thoughts and alone to reflect and
with God
and to connect with Spirit. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's all this is. There's nothing scary about this. But it's a chance to do that. Again, write a letter, spend some time with your younger self, write a letter, spend some time with your future self, with the goal and our hope that you can remove the fear and comfort your younger self and be comforted and have your fear removed by your future self with the idea of
Excuse me.
Okay.
And you can cast a vision for that younger you as well. Say, oh, I see your creativity. Look at how you're viewing these things. Look how resourceful you are in dealing with these things that have been thrown at you. It's really empowering.
This is what you deserve. And because of all these things that we're dealing with right here, right now, we oftentimes live a life that we think, how do we get here and where do we go? And this will really help, I think, help us have a higher view of ourselves, give ourselves, heal from things, forgive ourselves of things, and really just maybe change the narrative on what life is, who we are, whether or not we're worthy, which we are. You are.
Yep.
And we don't want you to settle for anything less than that. And how you love yourself and how you love others and how others love you. The idea here is to free your heart to love and be loved. And that's what we want our gift to be for you on this Valentine's Day. So we have another little gift for you. You get a car and you get a car. No, wait.
We can't do that.
We can't do that. We have a little gift. Many of you have written us and said, oh my gosh, as you probably know now by episode 17, that the music that you hear at the beginning is our daughter, Hannah Cottrell, our youngest. And she goes by the stage name of Saint Sinner. You can find her on Spotify or at heysaintsinner.com. That is her original song that she wrote and produced and sings and plays everything on. It's called Calm Me Down. And we've heard from many of you and say, where can we find this? Where can I download? Well, you can't. It's not out there. It's just for this podcast. And you haven't heard the whole thing yet. So we have a little gift for you as we wrap this up. It's the rest of that song, or at least the first couple minutes of that song. So don't go away. Don't hit stop. So let the song play. So we're about to play for you the rest of Hannah's song called Calm Me Down as a gift to you, and we love you dearly.
We love you dearly so much.
Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay if I were to lose it, but you stay the same most days? So I call you up and you call me down. Would it be okay? Oh, would it be okay? Would it be okay? Would it be okay? Just off the plane in Dubai, yeah. Young me going straight to the sky, yeah. Young gun, I ain't never been shy. You ain't gotta tell me twice for I'm on the next flight, yeah. Caught you in a Whole Foods juice bar, looking so cute. Came swinging it so high, now she got me kidded. Driving around in her car, now I gotta live in. She my co-star. Always got my head in the clouds. Storm coming in, got me upside down. When lightning strikes with always keep my head on the ground. Would it be okay if I were to tell you that I am afraid someday? So I call you up and you calm me down. Would it be okay if I were to lose it, but you stay the same most days? So I call you up and you calm me down. Would it be okay? Would it be okay? Would it be okay? Would it be okay?
You've been listening to the FreedHearts podcast. We have extensive resources and vibrant community for you at www.freedhearts.org. Just come say hello. And if you have questions or issues or comments about the podcast, things you'd like us to talk about, reach out to us at podcast@freedhearts.org. The music is provided by Hannah Cottrell, our daughter, the Grammy-nominated Saint Sinner, and you can find out more about her at heysaintsinner.com. Please share this, subscribe, and follow on your favorite platform, and thanks for listening.